Hi guys, happy Thursday. This is Mr. Uchendu again, here with another mini lesson. Today's mini lesson, we have the lesson objective. I thought I'd just write the lesson objective today. So today we are going to be, it's pretty much going to be, I can solve word problems using equations. So we're going to solve word problems using equations. Now, let's look at this word real quick before we jump into that. Equations, okay? The word equations, just a quick definition, that's pretty much a number sentence with an equal sign and a solution. A number sentence with an equal sign and a solution. And in our case, we're going to use algebraic equations, okay? That simply means that it's just going to have a letter. So for example, let's just say that we want to have this equation. Let's say we have a plus 7 equals 12, okay? So this is known as an algebraic equation simply because it has a letter, has number, and a particular operation, which is in this case addition, equals 12. See, this equal sign makes it the equation. Okay, so one side has to equal the other side. The left side has to be equivalent to the right side. So we know that whatever the left side is, A has to be, whatever I added to 7 has to equal 12. So this is my equation, okay? So let's just jump right into some word problems and let's solve it using the equation. So let's do that. All right, so here I printed out some word problems. We're just going to do 2 examples today, and then you guys get to practice some yourself. Let me make sure you guys can see. Yep, so you guys will get to practice some yourself after we do these 2 together. Okay, so let's read the problem. Of course, we're going to use the read, draw, write strategy. You guys know that's a great strategy to organize your thinking. So let's read the problem. All right, here we go. Joey earned $12 for every car he washed on Saturday. If he earned $180, how many cars, C, did he wash? Write and solve an equation to represent the situation. All right, so we want to write and solve the equation. Well, we know we're going to use our read, draw, and write strategy. So let's go ahead and write down our facts. In fact, if you guys want to follow along on a sheet of paper, you can write down the facts. You can pause the video and write the facts down. So I'm going to write down the facts. All right, guys, I have my facts written. I just went ahead and paused the video and wrote the facts real quick so we don't spend a lot of time just writing the facts. But let's go ahead and look at our facts now. So we see, like we read, Joey earns $12 for every car he washed on Saturday. I wrote that right here. And then my question. So that's the only fact I saw in this problem. I don't know if you guys saw another one. I think that's it. Anyway, so here's the question. If he earned $180, how many cars, C is going to represent cars for our equation we're going to write, did he wash? Okay, so that's what I want to answer. Okay, so let's go to our draw section. Let's see if we can represent this problem. Okay, so I think what I can do is I can use a tape diagram to kind of represent what's happening here. Okay, so let me just draw a tape diagram. And then we still have to write an equation, but let me draw this tape diagram. Now this tape diagram is going to represent all of the money. It's going to be pretty much $180. This is how much money he earned on Saturday. And this is going to be how many cars he washed. Okay, so we know he earned $180 on Saturday, right? Joey earned, if he earned $180 $80. How many cars? We want to know how many cars. All right. So we know, what do we know? That he earns $12 per car. He earns $12 for every car. So if I was to think about that, how would I write an equation to represent this? I need to know how many cars. So what would I do? Well, I can actually divide 180 by 12 to give me the number of cars. So that would look like this. 180 divided by 12, here's my equation, equals C. Now remember, C stands for the number of cars. We're trying to see if he earned $180, how many cars did he wash? So I would do 180 divided by 12 to give me the number of cars he washed. Now, another way I can think of that is this. I know he does 12 cars. He gets $12 for every car he washed. So that would be $12. And then here's how you're going to write multiplication when you're dealing with an algebra. You don't really write the X sign because the multiplication symbol looks like an X. So when you're doing that, you just simply do 12, and then you can do a parentheses times C. That already means 12 times C. C, of course, stands for the cars. C is going to be our cars, okay? So 12 times C, whatever C is how many cars he washed, has to equal 180. So here I've written my equation. Remember it says write and solve an equation to represent the situation. So here I wrote my equation. Now I need to solve this, okay? So here's my equation, okay? So I wrote my equation right there. Now let's solve it, okay? So 180 divided by 12. So I can just actually do the math over here real quick. So let's do that quickly. 180 goes inside. This is my whole number, my divisor. Guys, remember your terms. Whole number, divisor. Divisor always goes outside. All right, let's do this. 12 goes into 1 how many times? 0 times. 0 times 12 is 0. You're going to divide, multiply, subtract, bring it on down, bring it on down. I divided 12 into 1. It goes in 0 times. 0 times 12 is 0. Now we subtract. 1 minus 0 is 1. Bring down my 8. That becomes 18. 12 goes into 18. How many times? 1 time. 1 times 12 is 12. I don't want to run out of space, so I'm going to write a little smaller. Let's do this. 18 minus 12 is 6. Bring down this 0. 60 goes into 12 goes into 60. How many times or how many groups of 12 can you get out of 60? Another way of saying it, I can get 5 groups. 5 times 12 is 60. That's going to be 0. I don't have anything else to bring down, so the answer is going to be 15. 15 cars is how many 15 is how many cars he washed on Sunday. So C equals, not Sunday, Saturday. C equals 15. So if I put 15 over here, 12 times 15, and you can actually check it, is going to be 180. Go ahead and check that yourself when you get a chance. 12 times 15 is in fact 180, and 180 divided by 12 is in fact 15. So the number of cars he washed on Saturday is 15. Okay, so that's how you write the equation, and we solve the equation, okay? You got to know how to write it, especially in 5th grade. 6th grade, you go into solving the equation. So I'm kind of giving you guys a preview of 6th grade right there. Let's move on to the second one real quickly. Let's read the problem. Here we go. Jackson has 35 action figures. Hudson, so we have Jackson has 35 action figures. Hudson has twice as many action figures. Dan, that was actually has, I changed it to than, T-H-A-N. Then Jackson, write an equation to represent the value of A, the number of action figures Hudson has. All right, look, you may have saw the facts. Go ahead and pause the video and write down the facts. All right, so here we go. So here are my facts. Jackson has 35 action figures. Got that first fact. Boom. Hudson has twice as many action figures than Jackson. So we know Hudson has twice as many. And they want us to write an equation to represent A, the number of action figures Hudson has. And then it says right here, solve it too, okay? So we're gonna actually solve this. So let's go ahead and model what's happening here, okay? So I know we have Jackson, right? We got Jackson. And what do we know about Jackson? Jackson has what? 35 action figures. So I'm gonna use this tape diagram here. And we're going to say it's 35. We know it's action figures, okay? 35 action figures. Jackson has 35. Good. Hudson, we don't know how much Hudson have as far as the action figures. That's what we want to solve. But we do know he has twice as many. So who was going to have more action figures? Is it going to be Hudson or Jackson? Well, if Hudson has twice as many, Hudson has more. He's actually going to have 2 times as much. That's the word twice, means he has 2 times as much than Jackson. So I'm actually going to draw another tape diagram. That's 1. He has 35, but then he has twice as many action figures. So he has twice as many. So you got 35, you have twice as many. So twice, that means he would have 35 here and 35 here. So how would you write this equation? A couple ways you can do this to make it to equal to A, the number of action figures. A is going to represent the number of action figures Hudson has, okay? So A, well actually C over here was the number of cars washed, just so you know. Anyways, let's go back. A is going to be number of action figures that Hudson has. Okay, that's what A is going to mean. Okay, so here's my tape diagram. I showed that. So I can do it a couple ways. I can say an equation. I got to write my equation, right? I want to write an equation. So I can say 35 plus 35 is going to equal A, which is going to give me the number of action figures that Hudson has, right? That's one way. What else can I do? That's right. I can also say 35, that's 35 2 times. That's 2 times 35 equals A. That's another way to represent the equation. There's actually another way you can do this too, and I'll show you when we solve it. You can actually say A divided by 2, I'm sorry, not 20. Let's write that again. A divided by 2 equals 35. So whatever A is going to equal, if I divide it by 2, it equals 35. How do you know? Well, look, you have 2 over here, you have 1. So if I can divide these, this is actually just half pretty much. So if I divide it by 2, I get 35, right? So let's just do that. Let's just pick any of these. Let's do 2 times 35, or 35 plus 35. You can solve it. So if you do 35, and then we say times 2, that's going to be 10. That's 5, that's 10. That's going to be 6 and 7. So that means, and you could have just seen 35 plus 35 is 70. A equals 70. A equals 70. Hudson, write an equation to represent the number of action figures Hudson has. We did that. We wrote 3 equations, in fact. All of these would actually equal the same thing. In fact, 70 divided by 2 does equal 35. You can check that out yourself. If you need proof, 70 divided by 2 equals 35. 2 times 35 is 70. 35 plus 35 is 70. So A does, in fact, equal 70. So Hudson has 70 action figures. All right. Hey, guys, I hope this lesson helped on solving word problems using equations. We solved 2 word problems using equations. Hey, I'm going to give you guys a chance to practice it yourself on the Google Classroom. I loaded a link. I want you to solve that yourself when you're done. Let me know how it was. You don't have to necessarily submit it, but you can work on that and just let me know how it went. If you'd like to submit it, you can. I'll give you some feedback. But hey, go ahead and work on that, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.